Now the first thing that we need to do is to create 3 tabs. I've called them Dashboard, Resources, and Parameters. So I'm going to be working my way from right to left for a change. I'm just going to go through these very quickly. So the parameters, it's for the priority and the status here. I'm going to create a priority high, medium, and low. So I just put them here. I'll leave those fields here. I have total work and time spent, but those will be for the calculation to allow you to have some charts. And same here, so the total work and time spent for the status, I will leave them aside for the time being. But the status, I want to have not started, in progress, and completed. What I would like to do also is I want to have a very dark mode type of background. So I'm just going to modify here the style. I'm just going to go to format and I'm going to choose a very dark. I'm using the new Microsoft. Actually, I'm going to show you this. I'm currently using the new Microsoft layout here. So recently that I've changed. So the new Office is a bit different. There's a purple now. The Office 2013-2022, that's the one I was using last week still, but now they have a new one. So if you're on 365, or I'm not sure if they've done that for all versions of Office, you would notice different colors. So I'm using the new Office look now. Let's go back here, right click, modify, format, and here I'm going to have a very deep background, and this way I can see which fonts color work and which one don't. Like for instance here, it doesn't really work, so I'm just going to have to find myself putting a lighter color here. I'll use the first one, say here, first one, and for this one I'm going to use the second one, the second one here. Okay, so here I'm just going to press F4, do the same. And here I leave it this way, but I will put a white font. Now I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to press the format pointer. Actually, I'm going to press it twice. So I can apply this on that and on that. The other formatting that I like to do is I would like to have some white borders. So I'm just going to go here, more borders, white, and I click on outline and inside. And now I take the format pointer, I reapply it here, and I just take one line here, format pointer, reapply it here. I should have double clicked, voila. And I put those in bold here. So that's it. So I've already finished the parameters tab. We'll come back to it for calculation. Those are the ones that will stay as is. You don't need to change those. You could, but you would have to change a bit of programming later on. The second one is the resources. So I'm just going to apply the same formatting. Resource, I'm just going to apply the same formatting. And here I'm just going to drag that down. So usually for these types of people who download MySQL, they don't have that many resources, more usually for small projects or even for home projects. So I don't imagine you'll have that many, but I'm being quite generous here. So this is where you will import your resources because we'll be doing some checkings on this. So I'm just going to put resource 1. And if I drag it down, okay, so I'm just going to leave it as is as well. So this will be calculated later on. So I am done with the resource tab. So now we go to the dashboard. So here I'm just going to format the top first. And I will walk you through each column. And here I've just put some notes for us to help us understand this one. And here I just explain range name. So here what I'll be doing is I will be putting a default value. Here I'm choosing one cell here that has already all the formatting. I'm going to use the format pointer. And I'm going to put it all across here. And actually here I will need some borders. So I just need to make sure that I get the border as well. Make this a little bit wider. And here I'm just going to put nothing here. I'm just going to put nothing. I might mess up my border. No. here I have all the columns that I want to use. I'm just going to put them a little bit bigger. Here I have just putting some note that I will remove. That's just to help us understand if you want to have a look at it. So that explains that this field, for instance, will be validated. That should be validated. And those three here will be calculated. And this is the range name. So we'll see, if you don't know how, we can have a look together how to create those names. So how many tasks do I have here? So here it's always the same story. You can have as many tasks as you like. So I'm just going to add more here. And it's done. So the task name, this one is pretty obvious. So here you put a task name. I don't like to have task names too long because on chart sometimes you want to put the task name here. So I'm just going to put task name 1. I'm not very innovative today, but you get the message here, task name 1. And here the priority. So this is the part that I want to validate. So if I go here, I put myself on this. If you don't know how to validate, you press data. You press data validation here, and here you just put list. And in the source, you go back here, the priority. And this should be able to, you can select any of the priorities. Now, if you have some tasks, let's say you don't want to fill everything with tasks, you just clear the data, although you are only allowed 3 values here. It also lets you have the cell completely blank. So later on, I will change this so it's not all high, but we are on a mission now. So here, the deadline for each task. Just going to put a date here. After I will change that. First off, I should put something in the future, 2024. Now, who's on it? That's not a very politically correct way to say that the resource here. So here, I want to do the same. I want to do a data validation. And the data validation that I want, click on source, and I go to resources. And here I can select more. Look, if I select 8, for instance, here, it's smart enough to only show you the first 4 one and after a blank one. So I think this is quite good. So here I just put the resource name here, so just the resource. Now the work required. So this is where we start putting some dates into it, some time frames. So here, for instance, I could have 10 days. So that's the work that is required. You have the choice of either putting the work at the beginning, and and that will be your baseline in a way, or you have the option to change it. But what I suggest you do here, and that would work better with a spreadsheet, is just you put the work required at the beginning here. So this way that will allow you to track how much more work that you have done, if that's of any interest to you. So you just don't change it, and you put the time spent here, so you monitor how much time has been spent. And then you put the percentage completed, which is not calculated. For instance, here that works beautifully. Let's say you had 10 days, you spent 5 days, and you've noticed that they have completed 50%. But they could have completed almost 80%, and then they have spent 5 days, so they'll be ahead. So this is, in a way, doing earned value. It's a very simplified version of earned value. And actually, if you are interested in earned value, I have a couple of videos that you might want to watch. Put the link in the description. But I think this is good for this spreadsheet. You just put the time spent and the percentage complete, and at the end, you'll see if you have spent more than planned. Now the status is calculated. So we don't have a lot of complicated formula in this spreadsheet, and definitely no VB macros. So I'm just going to put the formula here using the ifs. You might not have it, so if you don't have the ifs with an S, you will have to put nestled if. So it's a little bit more tricky, but I think it's also feasible. So here, for instance, if the percentage is equal to 1, then I say the task is completed. 1 is 100%, and I need to put a comma here. Then we are completed. If on the other hand, this field here is 0, so then not started. Now I'm going to put a is blank. We haven't input any task at all, which is the task name here. If it's blank, then I'm just going to leave this blank, otherwise it's going to try and calculate things that it shouldn't. So if this is blank, I'm going to put nothing. And finally, for all the other, I'm just going to put true, because sometimes it's good to have true in this one here. I'm just going to put in progress. Now that works. So if we have 100%, it's going to say completed, and 0 not started. So it works. Late. So how that's also a calculation here. So here for late, the only thing I can base myself on for the task being late or not is today's date. So if the deadline was before today and it's still not finished, then we are late. This is simplified as well, but that's the only thing we have to work with, because we only have the deadline there to play with. So here, I'm just going to put an if here, an and. And I'm going to say, if the deadline was before today, and today it's an Excel function that I'm just going to put this way. So if the deadline is before today, and this field here, the completion field, is not equal to 1, then I know, sorry guys, I know that we are late. So I'm just going to do an exclamation mark. I think they'll get the message. I have false, no, because it's not the case. So instead, I need to put a blank instead. So instead of false, I have blank here. So let's have a look. My deadline is the 1st of April, so it's not finished, so it's okay. So if I put my deadline was the 1st of Feb, which is in the past, I put the exclamation mark. You might not see it very well, but trust me. And that's it. So, but if the completion is 100%, then we're not late anymore, and it's completed. Put some additional data here. What I want to do is to start doing some basic formatting. What I want is, I want the completed, in progress, and not started to show different colors. So by default colors here, we've done the second one. So what I want is, I want the not started to have to be the first one here, the lighter. And I want the completed to be in a darker thing. So that will be the theme for this spreadsheet here. So I can select everything, or I can just select the top left one. So what I want to do is I want to create a new rule, conditional formatting new rule. So here I want to check the completion status. So I'm just going to select K7 here for me, which I remove the dollar before the 7. This way it will apply this to all the rows. So this way will follow the percentage complete as we go down the table. And if it's 0, I need to format it with the lighter of the purple here. So let's see if it works. So that works. So now I'm just going to need to do this for the completed. I'll go back to that rule, duplicate it. And instead of 0, I put 1. So you can put 100% if 1 doesn't work for you, but it's just the same. And here I'm just going to put the third as we decided. Apply, and that's it. So now we have 3 different colors. The completed are showing a deep purple here, and the not started with light. And the others, as it was a default color, are staying the same. Before we go into the charts, we need to actually make some calculations. So first of all, resources. For the resource, I want to calculate the total work and the time spent. Okay. So now we discussed some range names here. So I'm just going to show you how to name the range. That will make everything much easier down the track. So you just select all the rows if you haven't done it. If you've never done it, you can see how I do it. And here you put the name here in a name box. There's other ways, but I think this is the fastest. You just put the name of your range. And you press enter twice, otherwise you it's not going to work. So here I call this one priority. Here I wanted to call it resources. Press twice, put required here. Takes just a tiny bit of time, but I make things so much easier and clearer as well. When you program, you need to make it easy to maintain, as you know. Thanks for the tip, Ben, really. Status here, voila. Status, and press twice. Okay. So if you want to be sure you've done it right, you go to the name manager and you have all of those here, and you can check, yes, 7 to 24, bang, 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 no spelling, perfect. Okay, so now I want to sum the total work, and this is the work required. So I just needed to do a sum if, and I check the first field I put is resources, because I want to check the resources are equal to this, and after I click on this, and what do I want to sum? Required. Now if it's clearer for you, I'm just going to press on this for once, and I say that the range is resources, the criteria is D8, and sum the range required. Okay, and then I can drag that all the way down. Now I could copy this on the time spent here, but I would have to make sure that it refers to this resource here, and obviously now it's not required, it's spent. You can see that with name range you make everything much easier, and then you can change the range on the other side. You don't have to change this. It's quite nice. Now I need to do something about this 0 here, so I just select everything, right click, format cell, and number, custom, and I'm just going to put this value here, this hash here, and this way it doesn't show the 0. Now let's go to parameters. That's going to be extremely similar, isn't it? So we're going to have to do a sum if, but this time the range is the priority. So I'm not sure if I'll use this, all of this, but I'm just going to do the calculation. This will be here handy. So high, click on this, and then required. So here that gives you an idea. Even if you want to go back there, say the high priority, there's a lot of work required. Now I'm just going to copy this here. And what do we want? First of all, we want to move this to there. I could have locked it with a dollar, but I didn't, but that's okay. So I just put spent. Doesn't like it. Spelling mistake, spent. Okay. Same here, so we have the work required, the time spent. I'm just going to move that here. So what do we have now? We have the status. So the status, and I'm just going to put the dollar here to show you status dollar, and then required. See how simple it is. And now I copy, not everything, but I just copy this one here. And the advantage is I don't have to do the hard work of referring to that cell. It's already done. So status, this, and spent. I'm sure I've convinced you by now that naming range it's wonderful when you have some repetitive work to do this way. Drag it down. So here now I'm going to do a simple sum. Let's not get carried away, just this will be sufficient. And I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to put that here. Let's put it in bold, I know they are the same amount, but the reason why I like to do this is it's a way to reconcile. So you have 80, 34, 80, 34. And resource, I don't know if I've done it. I haven't done it, but And this way you are sure that you haven't made any mistakes in your calculation. So if here, for instance, if I don't find 34, it means I made a mistake. So I haven't. So we have I can remove all this now. We've named our range, we've done all that. So now I would like to do a couple of charts. So in order to do those charts, I have all the data I need for resources, but for tasks, I would like to highlight the tasks where more time has been spent than planned. So in other words, that the time spent is greater than the work required. For instance, here, the initial estimate was 3.5 and we already spent 4. I know the task is completed, but that could be useful information. Unfortunately, if Microsoft, if you're listening, please allow conditional formatting on charts. So Microsoft doesn't do that yet, so I have to do it manually. What I want to do is I want to highlight the ones where the time spent is greater than work required. So I'm just going to create 2 columns here. Actually, this is a black font, so that's not going to show you anything at all. So let's just put the white font. Okay, so here I'm just going to put a very simple condition. If the time spent is greater, strictly greater than the work required, I'm going to put this number here, the time spent. Otherwise, I'm just going to put nothing. I'm not even going to put 0 because it's going to confuse the chart. There are ways around, but... And here I'm just going to do the alternate. So this way we'll have 2 series that we can chart. So I'm just going to do the opposite here. If the time spent is smaller or equal to, if the time spent is smaller or equal to the work required, then I will put time spent, otherwise I'll just put nothing. So it should be the exact opposite. There is another field that I would like to calculate here, that will be used for one of the chart, is the work left, the theoretical work left. I'm just going to insist, I'm going to say theoretical. If I can spell it properly, I will put it work left. So the first condition I have, and I will put or, so it's clear. So if the task is completed, then I will not be doing it. And the second condition where I will not be calculating the work left is when the time spent, like this one here, is above the work required. So if this is above the work required, I have nothing to go by, and I have no idea, more or less. But in this case, it's okay, the work is completed. But if the task was not completed, I would know. So I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna put 0 for this. So I'm not gonna calculate it. In the other scenario, what I will be doing is I will be putting work required less time spent. So for most of the tasks, that will be sufficient. So for instance, here it's completed, so it doesn't calculate it. Let's see if that works. Just going to do it a little bit of formatting here. So let's see 0 here. Why do I have 0? Because it's completed. Here 1, okay. Work required 2, time spent 1, so it's okay. It's completed, yes. And here time spent above work required, so I have 0. So this is the theoretical work required, and I can do an auto sum here. It's leaving him in the dark. Okay. So that will be sufficient for the time being. So we have all the information now, I believe, to get started on our charts. So charts a bit daunting sometimes, but it can be quite easy when we select the right data to get us started. So here I would just want to put the work required by task, and the time spent, I want to take those 2 here because there are 2 scenarios really. Okay, so here I go insert, I go to chart, and I take the 2D column here. It looks pretty terrible at the time, but hopefully we can improve on this. Okay, now how can we improve on this? So the first thing is to right click on this and to format the data series, and then do something about the gap width here. So the gap width, if I just put it to 50% to get us started to see where it put us, and I will just put the overlap to do, just put how much, roughly 16, 60, a little bit less. Okay. Now let's just play with the colors. So the first one, I want to have it a light blue, this way. Actually here I'm just going to put the second. For this one I'm going to put the second last, something deeper. And for this, well, without being too shaming, and I don't want to do the same by resource because I will be a bit in your face, but for the tasks, I want to put something a bit different. I might go back to my colors here. Now, what I really need to do now is to remove this, the shape field. So I remove the shape field. And let's see if there's some room. I remove the chart title. And I need to put that up as soon as possible because we can't see a thing. So, all right, so I'm just going to remove the grid. I just click on the grids. I'm just going to, do we need this? Yes, so I'm just going to put this in white. I'm going to put the task name in white. And I'm going to give myself more room here at the top. I'm going to squeeze that a bit. This I'm just going to put it in white font. So here we can see we have two where we have spent more time, so they're it's quite obvious. So you see here the advantage of having short task names. Just going to give it even more space here, I think. Spread it a bit. So here I just click on the chart as well at format, shape outline, and I do put no outline. Okay, so we'll see that later on, but if you right click on this as well for the resource, but if you select data, and here you can select which task you want to show. So let's say you think it's a bit too crowded with the last tasks and you don't really care about those. You just press here and then that reduces your chart. That might be a bit, make it look a little bit better. And it have task description horizontal. So here you can move it around. So I like to move this around because that looks a bit less Excel-y. I suppose it's, put it there. Okay. Now I would like to do the same with the resources. So for the resources, I can go here. So same thing here. So let me show you again. If you select more here for the chart for training purpose, here I want to put them the other way around. I want to put them all this way here. I'm going to do a bit of the formatting here. Shape fill, no fill. I'm just going to remove this. Here, I'm just going to put that in white. White. So what I want to do here, I want to reverse the axis. Format axis here. And I should have categories in reverse order. So here that brings everything on top. Okay, so here you need to make sure that I should have selected it right from the start, but if you haven't, then make sure that you put the resources here on the left. You select them this way, and then I will show here. So here I have the resources neatly stacked. I will be doing, so, and what I wanted to show you, you can do the same. You can do select data, and then you remove the fields that you don't need. Okay, so here that's a little bit more readable. So here I want to reduce the gap width, make it a little bit more. So here I'm just going to use the same the same color. I'm just going to put the second blue here for this one. A deeper blue could be this one. Okay, and here I'll put this. And I need to remove the outline. No outline. And I don't need to put the chart title, it's pretty obvious. So here I'm just going to either copy it or cut it. And I'm going to squeeze it here instead. So here, just put it here. Nice and neat, put it a bit squashed. Okay, while I'm at it, I just want to be extremely fancy. And once again, the idea is also to move away from the standard Excel. If you can put people here in icons, you select icons, people, and if you want, obviously, and select some subtle icons here, you put them in white. You do extremely fancy reflection if you want, or less. Okay, and here you can put it in between. This is as fancy as Excel can get. Now I would like to focus a little bit on the high priority tasks. So here we have done parameters, we have the high priority task. I just want to show a very quick chart on, the people want to focus on what is high priority, keeping the main thing as they say. So the high priority task, I'm selecting all here. I just go to insert. I want to, for a change, a bit of round here. I'm just going to check this. So time spent. Once again, I want to have so this is the total work to be done to start with. So this one, I want to have the light blue as usual, the second here, for instance. And for this one, I want a darker blue. Just this one. And I would like to have what they call a pie explosion. So let's put an explosion. So here I want to add the stars. I want to add stars. So I just go to insert. That's just it to start with to get me the right symbol. If you select a symbol here, part of the wingdies, there's one that is a star here. So you just insert it to see, and it would put it in the wingdings here. And now you have to look here, and you say this gives you the chart itself. So this gives you the symbol. If you take the symbol here and you paste it here, so this is the symbol that you will have in a standard font. So that's you need to keep this somewhere. So here I want to do just a very simple calculation. If the priority is high, I want to put 3 stars. If it's medium, I want to put 2 stars, etc. Okay, so I'm just going here. I'm just going to put the ifs again. If this equal high, I'm just going to put this field here. Now, if this is medium, I could have named those fields, but I think you've suffered enough with the naming here. And then I'm just going to do it again, just in case. This way, if we have a blank field, it will put blank. Here I needed to put 3. And then for all the rest, I'm just going to put nothing. Okay, but that's not enough. I want to highlight the 3 stars. I hope it doesn't look too militarish for you. New rule. Cell that contain equal to, let's see, is it going to work if I do this? 1, 2, 3. equal to this. Then I'm going to put the font color orangey. Okay, so just need to make sure that you don't have a quote here. Okay, so it works. So now we have this. And here I'm going to do the same. So for the legend, I want to make sure that I have Wingdings font as well. Wingdings. Okay. And then I will paste 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I can remove this one here. Now I'm just going to add a column here, insert column. So here I want to put the total work. Here I want to put the work done. Here I want to put the left. Someone assisting with theoretical. And here I'm just going to put a variance. I'm going to put plus is good so we know what we're dealing with. So there's no questions. Okay. So total work. Now if you followed, you know that it's just as simple as putting have required, sum required. Sum spent. Sum spent. Now we haven't named this one left theoretical, but we can, or we can refer to this. So let's just be consistent. Left. Okay. Sum left. The variance, okay, the total estimate, less work done, and less what is left to be done. Here we're pretty close. So it's still in a positive, which is good, all right. Now, okay, let's look at the final formatting towards the end. It's just a last chart that I would like to do, just give an overview, a high-level view for the executives who have very short attention span. They are quote-unquote busy. So what I like to do is actually, I just realized this doesn't really need a bold. This is a bit too much. The total work. I want to show the total work. So I'm just going to select those 3 here, and I'm just going to insert a donut for a change. I'm just going to remove this the shape field straight away. Here I'm just going to call it total work. Total work, which is, you know, the estimate, the initial estimate. Now in progress, so not started. We're just going to be consistent and put the initial colors that we had. Not started. Okay, so I'm selected everything. I just need to make sure I select this. Not started. Put it this color. This is in progress, the second one. Click twice to make sure we select only this. And then the third one here is completed. So we really need to get started with this. So here, instead of, I'm just going to click on the legend and I'm going to remove it. And I need to remove the shape outline. Here I'm just going to add some data labels. Add data labels, put them in white. But because I don't expect people to remember exactly the color here, I'm just going to go to format data labels and I'm just going to make it very clear. I'm just going to put a category name as well. So here, I'm just going to select it all. I'm going to put it in bold, which will be too much. And here we have to do that manually to get it out, I think. I would like to put that in white if possible. Shape outline in white. I think that'll be better. Okay, completed. Put it here. And in progress here, total work. You can even put that work in the middle. So I'm probably going to have to squeeze that a little bit, but okay, so this, if it doesn't show me the line, okay, so I'm just going to cut this. Now going to put it here. Right, so that will require a little bit of fine-tuning. Just want to do some final things. So first here, I just said I could hide this, but if I had this, look what's going to happen. I just want to show it to you because it's something that can be a bit frustrating, but there is a way, workaround. So if you group those and you use this to hide them, then I don't know if you've noticed, but some of this disappeared here. So that's, you can remediate to this. You just put select data and then you go hidden and empty cells, and then you put show data in hidden rows. And here they should be back. Okay, so here they are back. There's something I wanted to add, is to be just a tiny bit fancy, is to add some links here. I think they'll look better, or they'll look good. Just going to pre-select this one here. Just going to put, for instance, resources, all caps. Going to duplicate it, Control D, and here I'm going to put parameters. And it's just a matter of adding a link, and place in this document, see the dashboard resource parameters. So here the resource, I'm just going to say I want to go there. And parameters, link, go to parameters. Now let's see if it works. Yeah. So we could have another field here, go back to dashboard, but you could add it if you wanted. Yeah, so if you, let's say you don't have all those tasks here, if you want to hide them, you can do the same. You can just select them, data, group, and hide them. So you have a more compact view if you like, or you can change the zoom. As mentioned, you can always change the color. If you don't like this, you go here and you select a color scheme that that you like by going down this. Okay, so I'm just going to do some final fine-tuning here, and then and hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I make plenty of those, so if you're interested, you can just subscribe. Okay.